one of the biggest things that can come to our aid is technology. Because it's because of the turn of the century information technology activities we did in India that made us what we are today in terms of being an economic superpower. It gave us the boost to get there. So is there an opportunity now for us to leapfrog the legacy systems and embrace some technologies that are coming down the pipeline so we can become a superpower there? You know, when I was, and everything we have, all the weaknesses we have are actually our strengths. So it's because we didn't have landlines, we adapted mobile phones very, very quickly. It's because we do not have a banking system to everybody, we probably will be the one who should adapt blockchain in a huge way to bring financial equality. So all the negatives that we have, all the weaknesses we think we have, actually can be our strengths if we can imagine and reimagine ourselves to embrace technology that's coming down the line. So to talk about what are some of the technologies that are coming and in what way is our life going to change, might change dramatically. We have a speaker who's on his fourth venture now and raised over $500 million for all his ventures combined. And in his current technology company, Manthan, he's already raised about $150 million. And he's really written a book called Where the Man Takes Us, which talks about all the different technologies and the impact of it. Where are we going to go? So I was going to joke with him and say, where will the man take us? And maybe we'll write a book saying, how will the women save us? So with that, Atul.
You guys are usually so quiet at Raymond's. No, honestly, is last night hangover. So can we have a big clap? I need some encouragement too. Thank you, Mr. Karnat. I learned so much. Thank you. Thank you, Lakshmi. As a younger man, I honestly used to lament that I was born in a wrong era. For to be born during India's freedom struggle would be so much more romantic, you know, or born alongside Jacobins or Rousseau during French Revolution, or as an apprentice to the greatest man ever born, Da Vinci. I don't think I lament that so much anymore, not because I'm any older or any less romantic, I guess, but I truly believe that we are living through the most romantic age in our 200,000 years of history. At no other point in time has a rational mind been so optimistic. Yet there are things to worry about: hyper-nationalism, bigotry, melting polar caps, maybe nuclear annihilation, the inevitable march of machines over man. But there's so much to look forward to. We and the technologies that we have created has made this the most transformative era in our entire history. Would you agree with me if I were to ask you that life has changed more in last 10, 15 years than previous 75 years? Quick yes? Would you instinctively agree with me that life seems to be on a path for a greater change over next 10, 15 years than arguably previous 250 or 500 years, right? So how did we get here? To my mind, if you look down the history, you would see two distinct human traits, two very unique human capabilities. One, our abilities to invent stories. B, our abilities and our facilities with technologies. You know, we have the unique capability with language. Language makes us imagine, makes us write stories, and then technology magically brings the stories alive. All the stories in our mythologies, I have been brought up on the diet of science fiction. When I go back to the science fiction just 15 or 15 years back, all Think about Sanjay, Dhritarashtra, think about all kind of Vimanas, think about Jules Verne's submarine, think about any flight of imagination that were in our mythology or our science fiction, are our science reality today, our science facts today. And I think these two abilities, we are not the strongest animal in the food chain. Literally speaking, we are on a scale of 5, we are 2.21, right in between anchovies and pigs. Yet we lord the universe. Basis of what? And we see the universe in a very anthropocentric way, as if the entire entertainment of universe, multiverse, was put there right in place just for our entertainment or to provide some meaning to us. How did we get there? Again, I'll repeat, is basis of our technologies. From opposable thumb, fire, wheel, steam engine, electricity, telephone, Google, all have been our technologies. We have invented these technologies, and they have gone on to reinvent our ways of life. My submission today is, and that is the submission of my book as well, that Lakshmi alluded to, that we, ladies and gentlemen, as it were, stand on the cusp of another major rehaul, another major rechange, reimagination, as it were. Again brought to us, all this change. Remember, we came down from the trees because of our first technology, opposable thumb. We became hunter-gatherers. Fire wheel makes us farmer from hunter-gatherers. Steam engine electricity makes us manufacturer. I think we are transitioning into a new kind of species altogether. And as I said, this change too is brought to us by our technologies. This time, the confluence and the forces of technology that are bringing in these changes are technologies of artificial intelligence, are technologies of nanoscience and nanotech, of genetic engineering and biotechnologies, and quantum computing. I just wanted to, I'm sure most of you are familiar with, at some level, with these technologies, but just to make sure that we can't stay with the story, AI, the greatest force, the biggest power on earth is intelligence. Imagine 1 million or 1 billion times more intelligence sitting with us. And that is where the fear and respect for AI comes from, in equal measure. Respect, if we are in control of that intelligence. Fear, what if somebody else has that intelligence? Correct? What makes the other thing about an AI, it's not a science fiction. It has already baked and is rapidly baking itself into our daily lives. Our smartphone itself is an AI factory, from spam filter to smart replies to image recognition, voice recognition, autocorrect, GPS. I can go on and on. As long as it works, people say it's not AI anymore. What excites me about AI, though, is that in our quest to perfect AI, to bring AI to near humanness, we are first time asking ourselves some fundamental questions. Who am I? What is it to be self-aware? What is consciousness? So far, I'll repeat, so far, we have relegated these questions or looked at these questions only and only through the prism of religion and or philosophy. For first time, we are applying lenses, algorithmic, scientific, quantitative lenses on a very fundamental question. What excites me about AI, that in my lifetime mostly, I would have answers to questions that Descartes or a Plato or a Case-Company would have pondered upon. The second technology that is at play is genetic engineering or biotech. And that totally fascinates me at so many levels. Because so far, all our technological advancement has expanded, extended our physical muscular reach. Think about any technology, whether it's plane, it's crane, it's the lift, it's the elevator, it's car. He has expanded, extended our muscular and our physical reach. First time, our technologies are merging with our biology. That changes everything, ladies and gentlemen. The basis of our evolution has been through environmental factors. That's what Darwin told us, right? Through environmental factors, okay, and the evolution is nature-led. And through mutations and factors, that's how we evolve. Now with genetic sciences, with tools, I don't know how many of you have YouTubed it. If not, please do it. Otherwise, whenever you're in Bangalore, come over to my office. I'll give you a sense of these tools are like word processors. They have reached that kind of stage already with CRISPR-Cas9 tools, where moving forward, the evolution would not be nature-led, but would be artificially engineered by us. That means our future, the evolutionary path itself, would not be probabilistic, but would be deterministic and designed. For 500 rupees, you can get your genetic code read, which will not only tell you your mating preferences, but why you prefer white wine over red, or why you prefer coffee over tea. One such reading is what made Angelina Jolie go for double mastectomy. Because one such reading predicted that she may get breast cancer and she may have a mutation of BRCA1, which is breast cancer 1, in 14 years from now. And the prognosis, if she went for a surgery at that point, the prognosis didn't look good. So one such reading made her go for a double mastectomy today. Again, the third force which is at play is of nanotechnology. I saw in your promo video as well, nanotech mentioned. Nanotech is a science of infinitely small and our ability to manipulate atoms and molecules. That makes you God. Even tinkering with genetics makes you literally God. The AI capabilities, God we imagine was omniscient, omnipresent, right? Google in so many ways already there. Anyway, nanotechnology is a science of infinitely small and our ability to manipulate atoms and molecules. That changes, you can change anything. You guys are a lot into fabric. Think about the future of fabric. Think about future of any material and material sciences. The smartphone that we carry today would very soon, in next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they're already in trials. We would have thousands of smartphones reduced to nanobots running through our bloodstreams, popped like pills or taken through a sports drink. The delivery of medicines, targeted personalized delivery. What is the screw up with the current chemotherapy? When somebody has to go through chemotherapy, you put, this is basically poison which will go and kill the cells. But that, we have had no system to know. It just goes and fire at everybody that he sees, right? It doesn't know who's the good guy and the bad guy. With nanomedicine, I can have a target killing of the bad guys only. So that's nanotechnology. Quantum computing. Fourth, Moore's law, which said that number of transistors on a chip would keep doubling every 12, 18 months, has run its course. Because of quantum physics, if you jam any more transistors, there's an effect of quantum tunneling. Basically, it has run its course. But our greed and our need for more computing power has just begun. And therefore, that is where quantum computing comes from. Okay, and imagine you already, within last 10 years only, your smartphone is million times powerful than the most powerful supercomputer just 10 years back. Imagine your smartphone being more powerful by a factor of 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 in next 10 years. Now, this would, in my mind, this will change everything. This would not only mean, I don't want to be polemic when I say this, but this literally makes you your own God. It will help you weed out pain, disease, old age, and eventually death. But in the process, there would be a lot of societal changes that we'll have to deal with. I think the defining challenge of next 5, 10, 15, 20 years is that disconnect, where the disconnect between the march of technology and our inertia to change. To my mind, and in the process of writing this book, maybe I saw it so clearly that all our societal constructs, whether it's the idea of love, sex, relationships, the code of ethics or morality, of job, of work, of the identity that we associate with it, of freedom, of democracy, all are imploding, all are in throes of change. Sometimes we fail to see it. You know, the earth hurtles around the space at the speed of 1,600 kilometers per hour right now. Do you feel it? You know why? Because you're part of the change, right? So I think we missed, sometimes we fail to spot this change because we are part of it. So Lakshmi took a promise from me that I won't lose the plot and go all over. And she said to focus on 3, 4 aspects of the change. Jobs. And sure, I would be surprised if anyone here has not had some conversations, have gone through some literature here and there on how AI will automate everything, that how AI will take the most cerebral of jobs, that automation is going to result in major displacement of jobs and so on. True. But also, remember, technology net is a creative force. It creates more than it destroys. Yeah, look, at the turn of the 20th century, horses lost their jobs in ways that they never got it back. People who were reliant on that horse carriage industry would have suffered displacement, but didn't motorized car create a much larger economic activity, right? I think if in wake of turn of 20th century, we took anything mechanical, imagine anything, fan, pump, anything, and we added electricity to it. I think you look at anything with IoT, sensors, AI, everything is set to be reimagined, redesigned. Take any X and add AI to it. It's going to create million, billion more opportunities. There's also a fear that we all might be rendered useless. I don't see how that is a fear. That might be our nirvana. This is not law of nature. This 9 to 5 construct is an in wake of industrial revolution, Adam Smithian construct. So I would look forward to that nirvana. I'm not born to be 9-5. I'm born to dream and drum to idle. If machine can do my job, I'm so much more happy. So next thing I'll talk about is consumer. Since you are a consumer-focused business, B2C business. Incidentally, I'm founder CEO of Manthan, who globally focuses on consumer-focused businesses. And over a period of time, I have seen my customer calling their customers by some fancy names, multi-channel flirt. Uh, uh, to my mind, the biggest change that I see in last 10, 15 years has been with consumer. If consumerism begins with Henry Ford saying, you can buy any color car as long as it is black. Why? The power balance was clearly in favor of the manufacturer, the producer. We in India would be familiar with this. Getting a phone was an achievement, matter of celebration. One has to wait 6 months, 8 months, 9 months to get a Bajaj effing scooter. Yeah. Come 70s, 80s, you have mass customization. You have palette of color of cars to choose from, for car to choose from. Where we are moving today is Uber personalization, right? Customer technology, just the smartphone, has empowered customer in an unprecedented way. That is why customer is almost a nemesis that you have to co-opt with. He's not a unidimensional mutant. To my mind, he's a 10-headed Ravana. Ravana's 10 head represents some 4 Vedas and Shastras and things like that. He's a learned man. Ravana is neither a loser nor a lover. He's a yin-yang, he's a complete man in so many ways. So is your evolving consumer, who demands more convenience, more customization, more collaboration, more of everything. And who is the most successful company doing it? Who's the most successful retailer? Amazon today, right? When you think of Amazon, what comes to your mind? Retailer or a technology company? If it was location, as Mr. Karnad alluded, today's technology. You have the opportunity to leverage the data trail that consumer leaves behind to smooth that customer, to smooth that consumer by offering a very personalized experiences. The third change that I see is with the whole idea of ethics. We still have such ambivalent. You have to get me out of the stage. Time is up. Okay. Okay. We are talking about. I want to deal with how and why this debate is important. Why I insist. Lakshmi gives me 5 more minutes. As I say that the defining problem of next 5, 10, 15 years would be this disconnect. What are the biggest 2 change agents in lives? Policy making, politics, and education. They are also the biggest laggards. And that is why we need to to participate in this discourse intelligently. We need to be informed. Whole code of ethics and morality had to be reworked. We still have not figured out how to deal with genetically modified crops, genetically modified foods. Now you have genetically modified pets and babies and human beings coming. You spoke about autonomous vehicle I saw on the promo. The road rules would not be so easy to establish. I'll give you a small philosophical dilemma. It's called trolley problem. If I'm driving and I'm faced with a situation that if I go straight, I ram my car into a tree and possibly I die. And in defense or self-defense, I have an opportunity, hypothetically, to swerve either left or right. If I swerve left, I kill 1. If I swerve right, I kill 5. Quickly, everybody would say, go left, save 4 lives. If I were to add another level of complexity, what if that 1 was 10-year-old? You'll hesitate. Let's add another level of complexity. What if that 10-year was your own son? Your morality will totally change. You're not saving 4. You're saving that 10-year-old son of yours. I am a software programmer who does this day in day out. Whose morality should I code in that car? And in a case of accident, who would you punish? Software programmer? The internet provider? The passenger in the car? Who? You talked about, I won't cover, I had a lot to cover about the future of love-sex relationship. There is a whole new sapient and sentient creature in form of love dolls coming into our lives. Saudi Arabia has already given one such robot, a female robot, if you will, Sophia. Some of you might have heard about it. A citizenship status. She doesn't come out in public with abaya. Last I saw her on TV, she was unaccompanied. She was moving around with Will Smith in Riyadh. So do robots already have extraordinary rights than what is enjoyed by the common citizens of Saudi Arabia? Again, lot to think about. Final closure before Lakshmi kills me and really kicks me out of the stage. Guys, I think that, I don't know if you know about the statistics, between us and chimps, our nearest cousin, the difference between our genetic set is less than 1.26%. And that difference of 1.26% meant chimpanzee ended in a zoo. We have gone on to create and build city empires, smash atoms, land on moon, invent money, imagine gods. I think if so far we are set for another redesign, more than that 1.26%. I think if so far we imagine God in our own form, we have an opportunity over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years to become God as we imagined him.